Hello, my friends. Haven't posted in a while. Combination of reasons, really. Um, Been kind of busy with stuff in my personal life, and also just haven't really enjoyed cards as much as back when I used to make a lot of videos. But thought I'd make one on mill since I love this. I love all the quote unquote unfun archetypes, such as credit denial, discard, and mill's getting nerfed. So if I'm gonna make a video on Mill, better do it before it gets nerfed. So let's enjoy our last dance with the card shredder deck. Um, I'm using a list. I think that's some pretty close to what Henry brought in the OCC. If you guys have watched that, I think it's last month's OCC. I really like the inclusion of naval power and AA barrage. A barrage pretty decent versus like air decks, Brit Air for example. It just removes the buffs on their plane, gains some tempo and also a little bit of HP. But you can also use it to remove bombers from like ramp decks. Like if you play phony, fill up their hand, make them overdraw with another mill card, and then you can just mill their big bomber for only 1 credit. Another thing is that having low cost orders helps proc your wave after wave. And also, it's just generally good if you're going second to have low cost units or orders so that you can actually empty out your hand and play your compromises. Because there are cases where you're going second and your hand's really heavy and you just can't play compromise because you're milling yourself and not even the opponent. Other than that, got some classics, classic Brit cards like Honey. Added the Air Landing Brigade as an anti-aggro tool. Um, yeah, actually there aren't too many classic Britain cards. A lot of the good ones have been rotated, like Monty and Shelling. Sad days, sad state of British cards. Um, Anyways, I do have the two fighters that are pretty decent, the Spitfire and the Mosquito. They kind of help counteract air decks, which are prevalent in that you don't always see Brit Air, but there are enough Brit Air and also ramp decks with bombers that it kind of makes putting fighters in your deck pretty good. Um, Only have two Glamour Boys because I feel like you can't fit in too many of them if you also want to put Blackwatch. I've been kind of iffy about Blackwatch. I don't know if it's a good include or not. It kind of helps snowball games where you're already winning even more, but if you're like already losing, it's not that great. Especially like playing to Jaggro and then you play this and then they just raiding brigade or honorable death it, and it just feels pretty bad. But I mean, it is mill, and mill is the Blackwatch effect obviously has really good synergy with mill, making it harder for the opponent to empty out their hand. Um, yeah, that's about it. Everything else I think is pretty self-explanatory, except for maybe the Firefly. I've been seeing a lot of tank decks, like kind of a resurgence in what's that German card? Blitz Doctrine. So Firefly helps counteract that a little bit. It's also good against US Midrange's Shermans. And yeah, I think everything else should be fairly self-explanatory. Now, I'm a bit sad that Mill's getting nerfed because honestly, I don't think it's that OP. I talked to Fun Police and he said that no, the stats show that they're actually OP, especially in high elo apparently. And I don't know. I don't know what stats they have, so I have to just take his word for it, I guess. I mean, I like Fun Police. He seems like a pretty trustworthy dude. But in my opinion, I don't think Mills should get nerfed. Now, maybe other top players, maybe top players will disagree with me, but maybe I am biased towards the archetype. I would say that mill is like my third favorite. First is credit denial, second is discard, third is mill slash resistance, and we're playing against ramp going second, or not necessarily a ramp, but this could be like more ramp oriented German US deck, or it could also just be Blitz Doctrine. And this is a terrible matchup going second when he goes first with War Machine and has Blitz Doctrine, so we'll just have to hope he doesn't have an order to test with. To test for Ultra with. Getting out the War Bonds, not the worst, I suppose. It is pretty bad still, though. Could not ask for a rougher start. But we'll see how it goes. Interesting. Doesn't play anything. Well, I can't really play any of these cards, so the choice is either between Devil's Brigade or Blackwatch. Could have From the Deep, although I haven't really seen many lists running it. So I have a choice of playing Compromise first or Milling first. I think the average card in his deck probably will be better than this. Panzer 3L. So if I mill first and then honor and loyalty this, it increases the chance of this getting milled. If I do this first, it increases the chance this returns to his hand, and I instead mill other cards in his deck. I think I'd rather mill other cards in his deck. Hipper is a really good mill. I will take the front line with a 2/6. Enigma is not a good mill for me. It's a good mill for him. And he plays a draw, interesting. Just puts his autocannon out there, eh? I mean, don't have too many good ways of dealing with autocannon, so I'll just take the dub here. Take the trade, I mean, rather. Don't think I want to move my Blackwatch up. And I don't really see a reason to play the naval power either. Okay, and he just surrenders. I guess his hand must be filled with, like, I don't know, draw cards? Maybe Fun Police is right. Maybe Mill is just broken. Because that certainly was a very bad start for us. With Mill, you, like, almost always want to go first, I would say. There are, like, some exceptions, but, like, going first is just so good for Mill. Because obviously your hand size is much smaller and you have the tempo to start milling your opponent. You have the credit tempo, so you whenever you have like okay, why is it so hard to explain this? um when you play compromise, you get to turn 3 first, so you can compromise before your opponent can do anything. Um I mean, I think it's self-explanatory why you want to go first as mill. This is not a good hand, especially against Jaggro. Did not find much of our anti-aggro tools, but luckily his start isn't super insane, not a Type 94 TK. Thank the heavens. Oh. Oh. Um. Well, that's pretty bad. There's no way I honor and loyalty that, right? Because the thing is, I have no way next turn of preventing him from getting the effect. But I think it would be super troll to honor and loyalty that. Well, that's awkward. That is really awkward, actually. And I have to ping that instead of the Type 93, because I definitely do not want him to get free draw. Well, he already gets his credit advantage. My curve is super heavy right now. This is one of the reasons why having low cost orders or units in a mill deck is good, because generally most of your deck is like pretty heavy. And this is also, by the way, one of the reasons why you want to go first, because your deck is generally quite heavy, and you can easily have like a full hand if you're going second. Like, you see this turn, this game I had my Pioneer and a Devil's Brigade, which is like a decent curve card, but like, I'm still gonna have 7 cards next turn, and I can only really play like these two, right? So this is looking pretty bad. Well, I definitely play the honey. Which trade do I take here? I think I have to like greed a little bit and go for the Yokosuka. Maybe make him trade out a little bit. Maybe I should have traded this out, because that's the unit that can trade well with my Sexton. Now I can't play my Sexton on curve, which is pretty bad. Okay, that's pretty bad. Okay. Well, I literally have to draw with Sincerely Yours. Jaggro is definitely a pretty tough matchup for Mill, at least if you don't get the early game cards. And he has Blitzkrieg. Mill, I feel like Mill is a lot more of a kind of a coin flippy deck compared to Credit Denial and Discard. I mean, you could argue that Credit Denial is a high roll deck, but I mean, with Mill, it's like, I swear there's actually an insane win rate differential, win rate delta between going first and going second. Do I keep Devils against US? I think it's decent versus Frontline, But then again, not even really that good. Unless he specifically has a the German 2-1 dude that draws. I think I'd rather try to get a low-cost guard. Okay. No turn 1 play going second, so it's probably a ramp. Yes, it is. Okay. Ramp is another. I'd say is a pretty unfavorable matchup. But going second, it is like somewhat playable. Or sorry, if I go first, it's somewhat playable. Um, if I go second versus ramp, then it's pretty unplayable. Interesting. We can compromise to apply some pressure. Making him death charges is really good. So far, so good. I definitely want to keep that for the B24J. Or do I actually? I mean, my plays kind of suck, so I do have the DID to deal with the 24J. I do have quite a few answers to the 24J. Normally, the reason you run this card is it's good against bombers. Maybe I shouldn't have given him the opportunity to trade that unit in, because if I don't push that to the front line, then he trades and I can mill him with honor and loyalty. So our hand's quite full. I think we probably just radar. There's an argument for also keeping radar in our hand as a proc activator for wave after wave, but let's just go radar. It reduces our Wellington cost too, which is pretty nice. And I guess we can just bluff Ultra. This is a fairly good mill opportunity. He has used one of his fire bombs already. Probably has two more, but still half the deck left, so. Okay, Bomber Mafia. Strat bombing, that's pretty nasty. Don't think there's any reason to commit more to the board. Do I want that in the deck? Do I want to steal that? I would rather steal a B24D, which presumably he still has left. Um, Let's go ahead and see if we can maybe mill it then. It's a bit of a gamble. Maybe I should mill this and defend in depth that instead. Second Bomber Mafia gone is pretty good. So we'll just pop the Ultra to cycle. There's the 24D. He has Yank. That is pretty bad. Although on the flip side, it does kind of fill up his hand. This deck is very greedy, by the way. I personally would not run blue and gray with Yank. If we find another mill card, we can go in on the phony, but without another mill card, I'd say I don't go in on the phony. Is it too low tempo to just pass? Because I feel like I'm just gonna pass. Because if I play my Mosquito, I kind of give him a target for him to use all his Retribution cards. There we go, we're gonna steal that almost for sure. Well, we could greed another turn. So what we can do is, this is a very good phony. It is a little greedy to not steal it this turn though. But I can mill like a lot of cards. I think let's not greed. We're already very ahead on fatigue, so there's no need to use phony too aggressively. I think this is probably a game where we actually want to use phony to draw cards on our end. So I'm gonna start emptying out my hand. So normally I would just phony in that case, because he also played Warbond, so he's gonna draw an extra card on top of my Honor and Loyalty mill plus phony. But he's definitely trying to tempo me out. Trying to win through tempo. So I am not gonna play too aggressive here because I might need to draw with my phony. I might need to draw cards from my own side. Now, I think what we can do is just pass again. Okay, so our defendant depth doesn't kill that. This is definitely a little too much pressure now, so I can't. Okay, I did say I was going to... This is just too good of an opportunity for Phony. And I have this for more card draw, so... There's Wave. I like it. Might be a little too greedy. So that B17 is his last card, so he's actually guaranteed to get it. Unless I can make him mill again after him playing out all his cards this turn, which is pretty unlikely. In a bit of a scary spot right now, actually, because he has a lot of cards. A lot of credits. Do you have our board clears? Okay, he definitely should not have done that. Okay, he's gonna concede. Personally, if I didn't have my board clears, I could actually be in trouble here, like if I didn't have wave. So I would have played it out, but I guess mill has the tilt factor. That's the mill tilt factor at play. He just wants to get out of the game. He just doesn't want to play. Probably do this game will probably be my last. I'm an old man now. I don't have the energy back in my youth to actually play out long 1 hour grinds for my videos. Sad state of affairs. You know what? I'll just keep the Devil's Brigade going first. Could maybe. Yeah, I don't know about keeping compromise is generally just not good. I feel like against US. Especially against L640 Highroll. Okay, we're in trouble. I'm in danger. Oh shit, I'm in danger. Top deck use ace as well. Alright, I guess I mean I kinda have to. I don't have an answer to that if he just keeps buffing it. Do you have the Canadian division to hopefully stem the bleeding a little bit? I really like this card, by the way. I think it's a really solid card option. Okay. Alright. Hmm. He is gonna actually have a lot of orders since he's playing the high roll version with supply shortages and stuff. Bit scared about that covert unit, but I don't really think I have the tempo to play for it. Unfortunate that you had to suppress on this. It's actually giving me a good trade with that. It's as good as time as any to drop the mill. Okay, hopefully he doesn't trade in his Devil's Brigade, then we can get really good value out of our own Devil's Brigade, although that is a bit optimistic. This guy's still got good value though. That covert unit has just been like cooking. I'm a bit scared. I don't know if I drop the Devil's Brigade. I mean, maybe? Playing this and keeping in the support line feels so useless. Like, I want to hold up Ultra. If I had the opportunity to move it up too, then it would be something, because it would hold the front line as well. But playing the support line just feels so useless. And a 1 damage on a unit could be relevant. This is pretty bad. I need my own card draw now. And I need my healing too. Wave, but no way to proc it. Although I could just wait, attack here and then wave. Kinda want to save my wave. Oh, that is a bad play, because he can retreat that and then go for the same play. That was my bad. He's gonna trade? What? I mean, this is a really good wave. Oh, I fucked up. I mean, holding the Ultra is not bad, but rather get on the Devil's rather kill the Devil's Brigade. I mean, it's kind of fine, because I could just kill it off anyways. Holy covert units, what the hell? Oh, well. Damn. Okay. Okay. That's certainly a top deck. Hold on. Does the covert unit give other... Wait a second. Is there a covert unit that gives other units in the front line +1/+1? Wait a second. Okay, I think if I don't remember the covert units that well. If it's the one that gives other units in the front line +1/+1, then I have to carpet first. No, it was Iron Man. That's bad. Oof, that's pretty bad. I guess I should have expected it was Iron Man. We can do something if we... Hmm. I think I have to... I just have to hold the front line at all costs now. Ugh, I really need my, what's it called? Compromises. Unfortunately, that is how it is. It is what it is. Sometimes you have 4 copies of a card and you just don't draw into it. Okay, we are kind of holding the front line. Okay, I mean, I don't know what Bernie has left, but I think I have to do this regardless. I can proc. What burn does he have left? Just trying to figure out. What could he possibly have left? 4 Shermans in the support line. Do I ever go face here? How much damage do I have? 9, 12. Oh. Just let me double count. 9, 12. Yeah, okay. Alright. So that's going to be my last game. I might give some more final thoughts on the deck. But, days of hour-long videos are over. I'm sorry, my friends. Although this is already approaching 40 minutes. So what are my thoughts on Mill? Well, you can kind of see that Mill is generally good for punishing slower decks, and there is a... You could say that any deck is a slow deck if they go second and you go first, which is why you always want to go first in Mill, which is why Mill is kind of a coin flippy deck, because I swear there's at least like, I don't know, there's like a 5% win rate gap between going first and going second. Excuse me. Especially if you're in a Mill mirror. Oh god. Mill mirror is really a coin flip. There are like opportunities to outplay your opponent in a Mill mirror. But like it really comes down to going first, going second. It struggles versus fast aggressive decks because you're kind of just giving them draw and you don't have that great anti-aggro tools. Certainly Britain has the best anti-aggro tools out of any country you can play Mill with. Yeah, so... Oh, right. There's a couple more points if you want to stick around. The video's kind of over, but there's a couple random points I have on Mill. So, here's a secret. You don't actually if you're playing a late game deck, like a slow control deck like Ramp or like even Control, you don't actually, and you have a chance. If you have a chance of winning on, um, not even on fatigue, but like pressuring enough your opponent, you're pressuring the mill deck you're playing against enough, you don't necessarily always want to dump your hand. I see players like they always like just want to hard dump their hand and go down to like 4 cards versus mill. And you don't necessarily want to do that because you get punished really hard by Phony War. You can make your opponent a Phony War can make your opponent accumulate a massive fatigue deficit and just like negate all the hand dumping you've done. And Phony War is also the reason why cards like Ultra are not necessarily that bad in Mill, because when you think about Mill and Ultra, you're like, Ultra draws a card. Now, isn't that bad for fatigue? Well, yes, but no. What Ultra does is if it procs, it is guaranteed to take a card out of your opponent's hand. Like it straight up removes a card from your opponent's hand if it triggers, right? So what that does is that it's guaranteed to make them draw one more with Phony. So any card draw deficit that you get from playing Ultra and it proccing is essentially negated once you play Phony, if that makes sense. Because yes, you draw a card, but you're also making them draw an extra card too. Um, in the general case, once you play the Phony, which is why I like Ultra in the mill. Um, Not sure if there's anything else to share on mill. I think generally you don't want to be too greedy with your mill. Like you certainly don't want to put cards like Lancaster. That's just super greedy. Because mill is already a pretty top end heavy deck, especially with compromise when you're drawing cards for yourself as well. Um, yeah, that's about it. I hope everyone goes and plays mill to their heart's content and makes all the other players mad before he gets nerfed. And thanks for watching, guys.